In the business world, there's really only one thing you can count on, and that's change. Whether it's a tiny adjustment or a massive overhaul, the ability to adapt is what separates the companies that thrive from the ones that, well, don't. So how do the successful ones manage all that upheaval without, completely sinking the ship? Well, that's exactly what we're going to dive into. And get this, that idea isn't from some modern-day CEO or business guru. Nope. That's from Heraclitus, an ancient Greek philosopher from over 2,500 years ago. It's wild, right? But it really frames our whole conversation today. Because in our hyper-fast world, that idea is more true than ever before. And you don't have to look far to see it. I mean, just think about the last thing you bought online. Click and collect, 24-hour shipping, drones dropping packages on your doorstep. These things sounded like science fiction not too long ago. And now, they're just the cost of doing business. Companies aren't just reacting to change anymore, they're the ones creating it. Okay, here is a perfect example of why change sometimes isn't just a good idea, it's absolutely necessary. Look at this. The Westpac Surf Rescue drone. It can spot sharks with 90% accuracy. The old way of doing it with a staffed airplane, only 20%. Let that sink in for a second. 90% versus 20. That's a game changer. When a new technology comes along that is that much better, you don't really have a choice anymore. You have to adapt. So that leads to the million-dollar question, right? Seeing that you need to change is one thing, but actually doing it without everything just imploding, that's the real challenge. How do you totally transform a company? We're talking people, processes, the whole culture, without it all just descending into chaos. Well, it turns out you need a plan, a really good, structured plan. Okay, so our plan starts here. Act 1, the thaw. Think of it like this. Before you can pour a new foundation, you have to break up the old concrete. This first stage is all about preparing the ground, dismantling old habits, and getting everyone ready for what's about to happen. For our guide, we're going to lean on this really classic but super effective model from a social scientist named Lewin. It's got 3 simple steps. First, you unfreeze. You basically melt the old way of doing things. Second, you make the change. This is where you pour the new mold. And third, you refreeze, making that new shape solid so it sticks. Simple, right? Let's start with that first step, unfreezing. And right off the bat, here's the most important thing to know about that unfreeze stage. It is all about leadership. Seriously, you can have the best strategy in the world, but if the leaders aren't driving it, it's dead in the water. The whole thing really does rest on their shoulders. So what does that actually look like? Well, a great leader in this phase has to be part storyteller, part salesperson, and part diplomat. They have to paint a really clear picture of the future, and then, and this is key, sell everyone on why the change is so desperately needed. They've got to smooth over conflicts, listen to people's real concerns, and, maybe most importantly, show their team they have total confidence in them. You're building a massive foundation of trust before you even start construction. All right, so the ground is prepped, the old ways are unfrozen. Now we're heading into Act 2, the transformation. This is the main event. This is where things can get a little messy, maybe a little chaotic, but it's where the real magic happens. To get through this stage successfully, a business needs a certain kind of mindset. It has to become what's called a learning organization. This term comes from a thinker named Peter Senge, and the idea is pretty cool. It's not about changing just one time, it's about building a culture where learning, adapting, and improving is just what you do. It becomes part of the company's DNA. And Senge broke this down into 5 core ideas. It's about things like understanding how all the different parts of the business affect each other, that's systems thinking. It's about challenging your own assumptions. But the big idea is getting everyone, and I mean everyone, on the same page with a shared vision, and then figuring out how to get there as a team. It's all about moving forward together. But let's be real, people don't always love change. In fact, most of the time, they resist it. It's just human nature. And how a leader deals with that resistance, well, it's make or break. You've basically got 2 options. The low-risk path is all about communication, giving people a say and supporting them. That builds trust. Then there's the high-risk path, using manipulation or threats. Sure, it might work in the short term, but you will absolutely destroy trust and create a toxic environment. Pretty clear which path you want to take, right? This brings us to the final act, the new foundation. You've made it through the storm, you've transformed. Now for the really hard part, making it stick. Because you know what happens a lot? Companies go through all this effort, and then slowly but surely, everyone just slips back into the old way of doing things. So how do you prevent that? The answer, in a word, is culture. This is the refreeze part of our model. Look, corporate culture isn't just some motivational poster on the wall. It's the unwritten rules. It's how we actually do things around here. It's the shared vibe of the place. If you want the change to last, you have to bake it right into the very culture of the company. So how do you actually do that? You have to be super deliberate about it. Leaders have to walk the talk. They're the #1 role models. You create new routines, maybe new celebrations that reinforce the new values. You train people in the new way of thinking. And this is huge. You reward and promote the people who are really living and breathing the change. You do that over and over, and the culture starts to shift. Now, throughout this whole process, it's so easy to forget the most important part. A business isn't just a balance sheet or a set of processes. It's people. And a big change like this sends ripples out that touch every single person connected to it. And for pretty much everyone involved, change is a double-edged sword. An employee might get to learn awesome new skills, or they might find their job is now obsolete. Customers might get a way better product, but first they have to deal with the frustration of learning a whole new system. It hits everyone differently, which is why communication with all these groups is just so important. And now for the finish line. You've unfrozen, you've transformed, you've refrozen. After all that work, all that stress, all that investment, there's one last massive question you have to ask. Was it worth it? Did it actually work? And you can't answer that based on a gut feeling. Yeah, it feels better. Doesn't cut it. You need cold, hard data. That's where key performance indicators, or KPIs, come in. We're talking about things like profits, market share, how many employees are quitting, customer happiness, all the numbers. You take the before picture and compare it to the after picture. That's how you know for sure if you actually succeeded. And so we're left with one final thought to chew on. We started this whole journey with that ancient idea that change is the only constant. And it is. But as you watch the world change around you, as you see businesses constantly reinventing themselves, it's worth asking yourself, is all that change really progress?